guys, it's Risky, and today I'm going to show you guys how to model a rock in 3ds Max. This tutorial is pretty much geared towards the more basic people who haven't really had much experience with 3ds Max. We're going to just be taking a simple box and creating it into a full-fledged rock. Now I'm not going to do anything such as texturing the rock. I'm not going to do anything such as getting the model game ready, but I'm just going to model the basic rock. So yeah. So we're going to go to our standard primitives tab and just make a box. So first I'm going to delete the grid by hitting G on the tab, and then I'm going to hit U. This will just bring us into a better view so we can move the camera freely. And now I'm going to go to the edit poly modifier. Now you can access the edit poly modifier by going to the modifier list. I'm going to hit E and you'll find edit poly. Now, as you can see, this doesn't really look much of a rock. It's nothing like it, actually. It's a cube. But what we need to do is we need to get it to look like a rock. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the quick slice command, go to like the front view, and we're going to create some slices. Now, I do actually suggest that you guys go to default shading. It may say one of these. Go to display selected and go to display selected with edged faces. This will make it much easier just to see where your edges are, to make sure and to check for bad topology. And yeah, so we're going to create some slices by clicking. Again, I'm using the quick slice tool, and we're just going to create some verts, create some edges. So here now we have a little bit more of a complex box, still the same cube. But what we're going to do now is it still doesn't look like a rock, So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Alt and 4. You'll notice that you got this little paint. We're going to hit the vertex, or the 3 little dots under selection. And again, to access the little paintbrush, Alt and 4. Now, you can hit Shift and mouse button left, and that will change the strength of the brush, and then Control and mouse button left, and that changes the fall off of the brush, or the size. So I'm gonna make my brush about that big, and now as you can see, we can use this brush to drag out vertexes and move vertexes. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna drag all these vertexes, sort of a weird pattern, trying to draft away from the cube like looks and more towards an organic mesh. Now, trust me on this, it may look a little weird at first, but I've got some tricks up my sleeve that we can make it look much better. But as you can see right here, we don't want anything like this. There's no edge right here, which will end up causing bad topology results. For right now, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to do anything to doctor it up, but this is pretty much an end gone right here, and yeah. We'll end up trying to fix that later. Maybe some modifiers we can use to help that. But for now, we're just going to work on getting the basic rock model. So we're just simply dragging out the vertexes, again, using the brush by hitting Alt and 4. And dragging out all of them. And you want to make sure that, you're not overlapping faces like this. This will create bad smoothing normals and create Z-fighting, which is not pretty at all. And yeah, so after about a while, you get a shape. This is a good shape. That'll look like this. Now, this is nothing short of a blob. So we're going to get out of the vertex mode. And we're going to go to a modifier list and go to Turbo Smooth. To go to Turbo Smooth, we're going to hit T. And you can access Turbo Smooth right here. Or alternatively, you can hit space on your viewport. Search Turbo Smooth. Now, the Turbo Smooth modifier, basically, what it does is it adds complexity to the object. So as you can see, when I have the modifier off by clicking the little eye next to it, you can see that my topology is very boxy, right? And then now it's going to add some complexity to the topology by basically giving it more detail in a way. You can use, it's somewhat similar to Subdivide, not really. It's similar to it though. And you can use, now we have a Turbo Smooth, irritation of 1 right here, which says irritations. You can raise and lower this, so 0, and we're at the base mesh that we had, and then raising the irritations up further increases the amount of polygons that we have in the model. Now we want to make this game ready, and right? So if you go and right click to object properties, it'll tell you your faces and your vertices. Now we don't really want to have this be a high poly model because a lot of games, the lower the polys, the better. So what we want to do is we want to use a lower irritation, let's say 2, right? We click off the model. Now you may notice that it's not the best of smoothing results, right? You can see here that it looks a little fake, is the word, right? You can see, our topology looks fine. We had great topology results from the Turbo Smooth modifier, but clicking off, you can see that there's some weird shading and some weird smoothing. To fix this, we are going to go to the Smooth modifier by going to the modifier list, typing S, and Smooth, or we can do space, search, space, space, search, and Smooth. Now you want to go to this one, not this one. Now, as you can see, when you take it off, it pretty much removes any of the artificial smoothing in the topology. Now, the Smooth modifier, it creates artificial curves in your polygons that does not add any more polys to your topology, but still makes it smooth. This is really useful if you're like me, you need low poly model but still look good. Now, as you can see, it looks really, really bad. It looks not the best. So we can go to parameters. We can hit auto smooth, which will auto smooth it. Now this is what it was like before. Our topology just looked just like this. Our smoothing results and everything. But we can hit prevent indirect smoothing right here, and you see it actually worsens. But if you go to the threshold, you can increase the threshold up to 180. So we're gonna go 100. And now as you can see, some of that weird smoothing is actually gone. You take off it, see you got that little weirdness. So this artificial smoothing tool, which is also in Blender, creates curves in the topology without actually adding detail to it, without actually adding polys to it. So this is a good way to minimize poly counts while still adding detail. Now, if you want to go even crazier with your rock, and let's say you're not even modeling a rock, but any object, we can go back to the Edit Poly tab by going to the modifier list, or even going and hitting space, search, Edit Poly, which I already opened it up. Now we're going to go to Polygon. Now, as you can see, when you hit Polygon, you can select multiple faces. You can do that, drag and click, or you can hit Alt, Control and A, which selects all. But we're going to grab only a few faces on the top here. So we got 4 faces. Now we can use the Insert command right here to create more polygons inside of them, and overall create little bumps. We can also make holes by insert, drag in a little more, go down. Now you can see we got a little bump. Obviously this is not really what a rock would look like. You'd more or less have something on a rock that looks somewhat like this. You have a little crevice like this, and you can add a little indent like that. And then we can add another Turbo Smooth modifier to smooth out this little boxy looking area to make it look like that. Now as you can see, we have very, very, very high topology, but it's clean. As you can see right here, you get very good topology results, all quads, very clean alignment. And yeah, so that it's just basic topology work, and then we can turn off this Turbo Smooth modifier, go back and edit even more. Let's say we want to edit a little indent on the side, we go to insert, make a little threshold with the insert, we go and we drag back. And let's say we want to do another one right here. Select a couple of polys. We even do a little rotate. And then what we can do here, good representation of the relax command. Relaxes back those polys. We can use that insert command from up here. Insert. And we still get clean topology, even though we're not using any booleans, which booleans cause ingons, which creates very, very bad shading results. And we end up getting this clean topology. Now, if we go back to our turbo smooth modifier, look. We get very clean topology results without having to use booleans at all. And as you can see, very clean topology. Very clean. No ingons, no anything. We just created simple, very simple holes and crevices in our little rock model. So yeah, so if you enjoyed this tutorial, you know, give it a thumbs up, maybe even subscribe to the channel. And I might do more tutorials like this on 3ds Max. But anyways, I hope you liked it. I'm Risky, and I'm out.